All right. Ready to roll? Okay, page 21, website administration. For this gives you guys a list of the things that should be part of an administration plan. Usually you're probably, this is all the things you could technically do yourself, or you can get it off your plate and have someone else do it. So usually you're looking at around $75, $50 to $75 an hour for a developer and a designer and a project coordinator to be able to take care of those things. If you can get on an admin plan where you can use minutes, where you got an hour a month and they're rollover minutes and you can use them as you need them, then you can stock up those hours and do seasonal changes to your websites. That's a lot easier for budgeting purposes, is if you just have like an hour a month and you can keep that hour and use it when you need it. That way you get on a schedule or a regimen of having something done before the season changes each time. So the kinds of things that they'll change, page 22 gives you a list. Those are the things to ask is, can we do annual, seasonal changes, monthly changes, daily changes? Do you get access to a graphics designer? Do you get access to a developer, content manager, somebody who can make changes to the content and so forth? That's pretty much it for a website administrator. That's what happens to your website after go live. Next, website refresh, page 23. This is when we were cracking jokes earlier, saying that it takes 18 to 24 months to build a website, and they only last 18 to 24 months. You need a new one every couple years. So here's what we've spent the last couple years building, is a solution to be able to take care of this problem. So essentially what we've done on this site under website plans is we have built an engine, and we're always building the engine. So it's developed in WordPress. It's specifically built for HVAC. It is a theme that's custom to HVAC. We are building a design library so that we can launch and deploy a website extremely fast and be able to replace it extremely fast as well. Effectively, when you buy a car, you don't walk into a car dealership and say, hey, I have an idea. So I see you have a lot of cars. Let's try and design this from scratch. It's going to take longer and it's going to cost more. And the technology that's being used is going to be way more outdated by the time it's done. So we've learned that lesson the hard way in building custom websites for companies. And quite frankly, you guys disappear for at least 6 months a year and you're unavailable, unreachable. You don't return phone calls. You don't show up for meetings, and it extends the lifeline of a project. So there's lots of reasons why this is important, but essentially what we've done is build an engine that we can, oh my gosh, how about I use my right hand? That we can deploy extremely fast, that comes with all of the functionality, is inexpensive to be able to get an HVAC website up off the ground quickly. We've built the store, the framework of the store. We've built the shelves. We've built the functionality within it for the services you want to sell. And then it's a matter of customizing it, growing it from here. So this is one version of the store. Each of the stores have a different layout, but it's not a template as in it doesn't have a brain. It's an engine, and you don't have to think about it. We don't have to sit with you and go back and forth and design things for 7-10 weeks at a time and spend time, quite frankly, on things that are absolutely pointless and worthless and not going to help your business grow. So I'm gonna go back here, and I'm gonna switch gears for just a second. I'm gonna go to under resources. We're gonna go to HVAC Marketing Explained, and I'm gonna focus just on this for just a moment. What derails small businesses? You can read the rest. If you knew it would if you knew it would hold you back, would you avoid it? So first and foremost, these are the things that we've seen through thousands and thousands of companies that put dampers on business growth. It's a combination between technology, strategy, mindset, and network. So when I say network, which that's our logo, our brand is technology, strategy, mindset, and network, and there's a reason behind it because those things all matter. First one, your network is who are you listening to, the advice you get. You have to be very, very careful. An agency can't grow your business further than they've been able to grow their own. So if you're hiring triple Fs, friends, family, fools, felons, people who do things fast, free, all of those things, those don't work out well. The reality is when it comes to building a website, that a single human being cannot do it. Moms don't give birth to all those personality styles in one body. We just don't, right? You have a developer. Developers are nerds. They're kind of weird, and they work in a cave. Like, their garage is a living space. They're just, if they say they're hanging out with friends on Friday, there's no cars in the parking lot. There's no one there. They're hanging out. Their friends go by, AK-49, and that's their name. And they're just different. I love my guys. I grew up in a household of them, so get it. They're different. They code in the Matrix. You guys have seen the Matrix with that black screen and green text all over it. That's what they see. And to them, that actually looks like a website. They can't spell because they write in code. So their spelling is horrible. They will leave spelling errors all over your entire website if given the opportunity to touch the content. They can't design. Their living room, the last thing you would say is it has good feng shui. I'll just say that. They're not graphically inclined. They've been hacking since they were 2. Hopefully they didn't go to school for it. If they went to school for it, they're way outdated. You hope they don't have a degree. If they have a degree, it's worse. You want them to be self-studied and to be learning on the fly. You want all of it to be trial and error, self-practice. That's a developer. That's who codes the website. That's who builds the engine. A designer. They went to art school. There's flowers in the centerpiece of their coffee table. If they say they're hanging out with friends, it's real. There's people there. They dress nice. So they're not in Birkenstocks and ripped jeans, They probably have a cold iced tea with bubbles in it instead of a Heineken on their desk. They're just different people. Social media, very different people. Socialites are weird. Okay? I should say the gayer the better, but I'm just saying that they have a different personality, and they're extremely fun, and how many friends and followers and fans they have is very important. Making money is not as important. They want to feel good, right? It doesn't necessarily turn into bank accounts, cash. SEO engineers. You guys know an engineer. Do they make decisions fast? Do they guess? What are you doing? You're processing. Still, arms folded, eyebrows down. I know the look. Right? I can tell the difference. They're totally different personality styles. So if you hire Bob to build you a website, that was mistake number 1. He can't do it. It's impossible. I'm good at this, and I can't do it. I got to have all of you need a very small percentage of a lot of different talents. You don't need a single person. Listening to the wrong people. Sometimes it's hiring an office manager, and they'll go, my boyfriend builds websites. No. Say no. Asking your office manager to do it. No. Not a good idea. And I have hundreds of stories to tell where we built a company to the #1 Johnstone supply company in the Puget Sound, and they hired a new office manager, and her boyfriend builds websites, and all of a sudden they dropped down to nothing, almost had to close the business. They canceled with us, went with someone else, then they came back to us, and now we're rebuilding the business again because they demolished all of the work that we have, getting advice from IT people, sometimes getting advice from each other. You guys go to a lot of conferences. You go to a lot of events. And when you sit down with each other, and it's not always the best advice. Right? Sometimes it is. Making decisions in silos. So having multiple companies work on many things, then they're just playing ping pong of whose fault it is. Lack of accountability and ownership. Making a decision on one particular thing and not thinking about the impacts on everything else, that can cause problems. Not understanding influences and dependencies, which hopefully we're going to knock out a lot of those today so that we have more clarity when it comes to our rationale. Thinking small. A lot of times businesses, they'll say, well, I want to work with somebody down the street. I need to see them. No, totally not important. You can see them, make them get on video. But what you need is you need somebody that has clients technically in Ontario, Canada, and Sacramento, because you need them to take the tail whoopings first. You need them to see what's coming. You need them to have clients stretched across the United States. So when Google's implementing something, when Facebook is trying something out, that they have clients that are in those areas where those things are tested, and they can let everybody else know, hey, big changes are coming. We've already experienced this in these areas. So you want national understanding of how things work. Google doesn't work just in your pocket. You know, it's tested across. Working with the triple Fs, we've said that, friends, family, free, fast, and so forth. Sometimes it's staff guessing, not measuring. A lot of times people will call in and they'll say, well, I'm not on page 1 of Google. My answer is, for what? If you guys think about Google like a giant filing cabinet, everything you search for opens a different drawer. So for what? What do you want to get found for? We spoke to a group of Dyke and Duckless dealers, and what is that? They're up in the upper Midwest, and we checked every single Dyke and Duckless dealer's website, and not one of them had a single page, i.e. product in the store, for ductless air conditioners or heating systems. And they were all Dyke and Duckless dealers. Not one of them had one product in the store for the entire room. So they were wondering, they thought all their agencies were horrible because they weren't getting ductless jobs. They were saying that people aren't looking for that yet. No, it's not true. You're not even playing the game. You don't have the product in your store. It's not even, that's not a business you're operating right now. Only in your mind, but not online. So, not budgeting, not planning. Not changing the budget year over year. So I'm going to help you with budgeting as well today. Stalemate, being stagnant. We've got clients in this area where they've been doing the exact same thing with us for 2 years, and quite frankly, they're maxed out. They're getting all they can get. If they don't change their plan, their results go like this. They start working with us and they're like, woohoo, this is so exciting. And then they stop doing anything new. We max out everything we can get based on the assets we have to work with. And they start tapering off, and then they start flatlining, and then they wonder why they're not growing. You have to keep rebudgeting. You have to keep building and adding and creating a bigger net so you can you can acquire more business. Okay, not adding more resources, not expanding your network, your reach, not adding new pages to your website, not adding new services, locations, not increasing the math, the numbers. And then priorities, this is a huge one. Majority of this is all mindset. It's being worried about the wrong things. Getting stuck in over-analysis. Being stuck on the design of a website can kill a business. It's too much. Get it out there. We need to think like entrepreneurs. We need to get our hustle on, go live as fast as possible, measure results, and continue to tweak and improve. Go live as fast as possible. Get out of the weeds. We need to stop worrying about things that don't matter. The other challenges is throwing away the entire house because the kitchen sink isn't working. So if you're with a good agency, if they screw up on something small, because in the reality, one website is hundreds of thousands of lines of code. So if they messed up and spelled a word wrong, or they put a wrong picture in the wrong place, or a phone number is wrong in there, don't throw away the whole house, just fix a number. Like, fit to the sink. Yes. You know what? And I got a note from Clyde. Thank you very much. I just got that message from one of our staff this morning too. Thank you. So don't throw away the whole website because advice is spelled wrong. That's perfect. It's like
you did it on purpose, right?
Yeah. You know what? I was testing you. So But that's a hard one. A lot of times personality can really hurt a business. I can take two businesses selling same product, same service, same area, same marketing budget. One feels like they're doing outstanding and they're continuing to grow, and one's just always mad. It's total personality. So just be careful. Not planning, prioritizing things based on feeling, that'll get you instead of logic, data, and math. Pride first approach. My wife built it. I built it. Those things hurt. My son built it. That's the worst. I've learned carefully to ask who built the website before I just start ripping it to shreds, because I got my tail handed to me a few times because it's the nephew and he's right there. And his uncle's very proud. I'm like, oh, dang. Sorry. Not participating and bouncing agency to agency to agency. So those are the things. If you know the list, can we avoid them? Because they hurt. All right. Let's get to the fun stuff. And then I'm going to come back. We'll come back and go through some of the more technical stuff. When it boils down to a website itself. So we already talked about this. Okay. So your website is a brick and mortar store. Think of it just like that. What does it look like? Is it safe? Does it have bars on the windows? Does it have a big sign up there that says not secure, don't come in, right? Think of it like that. Just make it a little easier. Is it compliant? Is it up to code? Is it getting penalties? Is it not passing guidelines for wiring and install? I mean, you guys get it, right? It's the same thing as a website. Is it compliant? Is it current? Is the wiring up to date? Is the code up to date? Are we safe? Does it look nice? How many entry points does it have? Okay, if it's a building, how many ways can I come in the store? Only one door? Only the front door, i.e. the home page? Or are there lots of ways that I can come into the store? Now, what normally happens when somebody's building a website is they focus on custom. So again, larger investment cycles, longer timelines. You spend a fortune on something that we got to get the cost down, and it's spent too long on it. The longer you spend in development on any website, you're just burning cash. You're losing money. So even if it's not perfect, it's never going to be perfect, and it's never done. Go live, keep improving. Go live, keep improving. Take it to market, make some money, and then keep hustling. Now, I'm done with the whole custom site thing. I love the custom sites we build, and Jamal can show you, Kim can show you. I love them. They're beautiful. But if you need to make cash and you need to grow, don't get a custom site. Like, do that later. Do that after you make some progress. Is grow into it. You guys don't need a custom site, period, hands down. Don't waste your time on that. Don't waste the money. Get the site done, get it up quick, because it's going to fail soon anyway. So let's do it right. Now, inside your website, every single page is a product, just like a store. And that product has a title. So if we go back to the nuts and bolts of why we're here, is we want to make sure that you are an option for the services you want to sell that other people want to buy, in the cities you want to sell them, you're willing to drive to and they live in, and you look good when they get there, right? Yes, sir? Something? No? Okay. So every single item, we're going to start with this. Raise your hand if I pull up your site. So Air National, Texas. Perfect. So your store has 146 products and services inside of it. Oh, thank you. Gosh, thank you. So remember, when Google is looking at any web page, you want to front load whatever it is that you want Google to see first. Front load means it needs to be in the front. So technically, this page is being titled blog. It's before the pipe. This page is being titled coupons. But it's also being titled AC repair and service in Spring, Texas, and coupons. So every individual page, if you think about having a piece of paper and you give it a title and you hand it to a receptionist, say, do me a favor, file this piece of paper so someone can find it later. Remember, Google's deaf and blind. It's reading Braille. It's not diving into anything but the text on the page and the labels. So anytime we are putting too much on a piece of paper, if you hand it to somebody, they're going to go, what do you want me to do? You want me to file it under coupons or AC repair or AC service? Where do you want me to file this? They don't know. So for Google, technically coupons, you might have new air conditioner system discounts in Spring, Texas, new air conditioner system coupons in Spring, Texas. You might have air conditioner repair discounts and coupons in Spring, Texas. That's logical. You want every item on the page to allow somebody or Google to take that page and to file it in a drawer. So if you're looking for that in the future, you can find it. Okay. So there is a difference in all of our businesses in product marketing and service marketing. If you are labeling pages with a product name, your competition is entirely different. Now you're competing with Walmart, Home Depot, Walmart, Home Depot, Sears out of business, but still all their pages are indexed, Amazon, and so forth, right? What are their monthly budgets? How many figures do you think they are? Massive, right? So if I'm labeling any page as air conditioner, this number represents the total number of competitive pages you need to beat in order to make any money. If you are in the top 10 of that number, you win. Now you're an option for something you want to sell in a city you want to sell it because you're in the top 10. This is in the organic searches, okay? If you go after any products, this number is going to be massive. So what's your competitive pages in this one? If you have to think about it, the answer is no. Right? Okay. Once you see products and prices, that's a totally different, this is not an e-commerce class. That's a whole different ballgame. Okay. You guys are here to make money so you can take vacations in summer. Right? So if you start narrowing down the search, AC installation, so make it a service in, give me a city. It's not Houston. Tomball. We'll go Tomball, Texas. How many pages in this drawer?
Okay.
Only 1.3 million. That's actually doable. Absolutely doable. So for you to be able to sell air conditioner installation in Tomball, Texas, game on. We can play this game. You need to be in the top 10 organic listings here in order to play this game. Now, this is our client. And they got a template website. They didn't
And they
spend,
just went live,
and they just went live.
like, not even a month ago.
Yes. So this is down and dirty. Down and dirty. Okay, I'll show you this. Now,
Let's see the website.
So nothing too fancy, no.
this is the template I just showed you. So when these guys came on board, they didn't have a bunch of content. They didn't have a bunch of much. What?
They went
Congratulations.
like Friday,
They
and they're
went
already
live.
on page one,
Okay.
position one.
Okay. So as you switch these, we'll go from installation, let's go replacement. How many pages in the drawer? That's cakewalk. That's a moneymaker. I'm curious.
Third one.
Not bad. That's really early too for their site to be. Let's go service. How many pages? Need to be in the top what?
There you go, 3 again.
Yeah. Go repair. How many pages? $594,000. So here's how this works. Okay. Step 1 is website. Step 2 is content. Content writing sucks. A, it's expensive. B, hiring somebody and retaining them to write air conditioning repair 300 different ways and make it unique every single time is the worst, most boring job anyone could ever have. I'm just being real. You guys are not going to write it. So you have to pay somebody to write it. You're usually spending around $100 on a low quality piece of content that's good for SEO, not personalized for your business at all. So here's the difference in our logic is we want to give everybody a competitive advantage. The longer a page exists in Google's registry, the more powerful the page becomes, whether it has content or not. If the page is indexable by Google and Google can see that they provide AC installation or maintenance or repair or service or tune-ups or smart thermostats and so forth, the longer that page exists, the stronger that page becomes. So our clients, we know small businesses don't have money growing on trees. They can't buy 200 pages of content and spend that much money at $100 a pop right out of the gate. So the logic is we build pages inside the site for the services you want to sell in the cities you want to sell them before you have content. So these guys didn't have, well, they hardly had content at all. So they just had a little piece of content for this. Let's see what they've got. Nuts and bolts. So this content is not enough for Google to crawl. You've got to have 500 words on a page. 300 would be the very minimum. This is just a small set of content. Let me give you a different houseboat furnace. Let me check this. Okay, so here's the this is the customer I said was the #1 Johnstone Supply client. Hired an office manager, boyfriend did websites, left AI web group, website tanked, then we're bringing them back. Now, this time, they've now had a website with us for 4 years. And here's what happened, okay? We live in Seattle and we live on a houseboat, my husband and I. And my parents live on a houseboat and our kids live on a houseboat. So this winter, the weather was nuts in Seattle. We've never seen snow like this. It snowed like crazy. I thought our houseboat was going to sink and everyone was freaking out. Every houseboat and waterfront property, basically their heating systems all just tanked. They were not prepared for that. Whatever, I don't know why or what the issue is, but they had failures with heating across the entire lake. So my parents called, said, hey, you need to get someone to go check on your boat. We're afraid if the heating thing breaks, then it's going to start getting condensation and bad things happen on boats when they get too cold. So this is my mom, my son, husband, my kiddos, my dad, and so forth. And this is one of our houseboats. So we called Braxton from First Response and said, hey, man, can you fix the heating system on the boat? We're not there. So we built a single page that said houseboat heating and air conditioning repair and service and we put only all of the cities that he services. Put in a contact us form and said, let's go for it. The reason that we did that is because there were 3.5 million pages in that drawer, and we figured we would prep the site for next winter. If we're going to have a winter like this, let's get him ready so that he can be the one that everybody calls if they have a houseboat or a floating home and their heating system fails. We built the page, his site, because he had a strong site, well maintained, all the right link building, all step 1 through 6 is golden. We're able to put up a single page with no content on the site, and that page is on page 1 of Google, position #1 out of 3.5 million pages in 7 days. And his phone started ringing off the hook for all of the heating calls for everyone on the lake that no longer can heat their homes. They're freezing. Okay? When this is done correctly, you become powerful over time. When you bounce all over place after place after place and keep skipping and starting over with kind of junkier sites and so forth, it's hard because you're not building a foundation. You're sitting on a crumbling base, and then you keep replacing a crumbling base with a new crumbling base instead of continuing to build on top of that. Okay? The things that make this work, one is having a website that's structured properly and replaced properly. It already got rebuilt for the mobile first index. It has the things built into it, which is schematic markup. That's what this is. You'll notice all of the top performing HVAC companies have schematic markup. There is no difference in between. If you look at all of the top performing companies, period, they all have the same makeup. They all do the same thing. The reality is, when it comes to marketing an HVAC business, there's only 5 agencies that produce all of the results. Majority of all results. Okay, it's iMarket Solutions, Marketing 360, Scorpion, WebPage FX, and CI Web Group. Those are the 5 agencies. If you're working with anyone outside of that, if they come into your area, they're going to take over the listing. They'll take your spot and move you out. Okay, those agencies don't play by different rules. Google has a set of rules and they apply to everyone. So there is only one page 1, number 1 spot for this specific term. Okay? Every term that changes opens up a different drawer. So this drawer has file cabinet flies open. You guys remember Bruce Almighty? Remember the file cabinet? That's what I picture in my head every time someone does a search. A drawer flies open, and it's got 642,000 pages in that drawer. Okay? Those pages, you have the ads, then you move down into those companies with ductless pages on their site. So you're usually going to have the company that is in this area first. You're going to see this particular company show up over and over and over again. Change the location, and it's going to open a new drawer. So now we have ductless furnace installation. There's only how many pages in this drawer? 154,000. This particular drawer is so small that not only do we want to rank on page 1, number 1, but we want to increase our odds by ranking on page 1, number 1, and number 2. The smaller the competition, the wider you can cast your net so that you can acquire more leads. If your website is showcased where an interior page is doing the heavy lifting, so this is not, so remember when I said your store, do you only have the home page pulling all the weight, which is the front door of your website, or do you have lots of entrances? The stronger every interior page is on your website, the more money you can make. Every individual page on your site can be a new cash machine selling a different product in a different city. So for this one, this is ductless furnace installation, Linwood, Washington. What do you want to sell? Ductless furnace installation. Where do you want to sell it? Linwood, Washington. Switch. Let's go to a different city. Only 198,000 pages. So CM Heating, GS Heating, Barron's Heating, this is also our client. If you look at all the pages or the sites that are on the top, they all have the same fundamental characteristics. Then it's just who's got more reviews, who has better conversion tools. Can they text? Can they call? Can they schedule? What do they have? This is another custom site. So for this website, for example, every label, so here's the labeling on every page. You have up here, which is called a permalink. Okay, the permalinks are going to help you get into a particular city and a particular service. Then you have the title. This is called an H1, or a page title, H1 page title. This is an H2. And then you have the content on the page. For this particular company, this is how we cheat. These guys are located in a city called Ferndale, Washington, which is almost Canada. Okay. They want to do business almost all the way to Oregon. So the entire I-5 corridor from Canada all the way up to Oregon. Here's the map. So their office is located way down here. And these are all of the different locations that they want to do business in, are doing business, and have captured reviews. And they are on page 1 of Google all the way to Kent, this area right here. It's basically a 3.5-hour radius north to south that they're on page 1 of Google for. Okay. The way that we are capturing this is by generating content based on the city you're doing business. And that content comes from 2 different ways. One, you have an app on your phone. This is step 5 of the 12-step roadmap. You have an app on your phone that every time you go do a job, you check in, take a picture, take a little video, make it fun. And for those happy clients you've shown what you've done, we installed this system, this is how you program the thermostat, blah, blah, blah. Are you happy with all the things? They say yes. You're like, great. Can I send you a text message real quick? Because the lady in my office goes nuts if I come back without a love note. And then you smile, and you have a process in your company that says you do not come home without the review. You do not leave. And that process, if the review is properly positioned on the site, serves a few different purposes. What's happening right now is people are getting reviews all over in places that do not matter. Yelp does not matter. HomeAdvisor does not matter. Angie's List does not matter. Better Business Bureau does not matter. You only have 2 places that matter. A, your website. That's your asset. It's your home base. That's your store. That's your salesperson. That's a copy of you, technically, that doesn't take vacation. It doesn't eat. It doesn't sleep. It doesn't leave. It just works, or it doesn't. One of the 2. Okay? And the second place that matters is Google Maps. Google is God in the digital world. Everything we do needs to be surrounding Google. Everything else is a second, distant second. Everything is Google. Those 2 places, if they're your priority for generating reviews, you're not going to get a review and make you feel good and dish out cash to your team for doing good work. You're going to get a review that can be used on the website to help you get found for a service you want to sell in a different city where you don't have a map. You cannot use, if they don't have an office in Edmonds, they can't use Google Maps for Edmonds. It doesn't work. Can't get verified there. So it's going to help you get found for a service you want to sell in a different city you want to sell it. And in addition to that, it's going to help you convert. Why? Because consumers are going to click on the site with the stars. Even if you're on page 1 of Google number 7, it's no longer about being in the top 3. It's whoever has the stars on the page is the first option, and consumers are ignoring everyone else. They are bypassing all of these ones that have no stars. So if you have a site that's been well constructed, designed well, content well, SEO well, you're on page 1 of Google, but you're not focused on schematic markup, which is part of the mobile first requirements, new technology, and generating reviews on your web page, then you're not going to have the reviews under your name. You're throwing cash at marketing things and not converting the business because you don't have the stars accompany it. And if someone else does, they win, you lose. Does that make sense? Okay, right on. You had a question.
Mobile devices, I understand Android, Maps, or Google. What about Apple devices?
It's still Google Maps.
Really?
Yeah, still Google Maps, exactly the thing. So Google's the search engine, and the Maps section of the search engine, Google's the most widely used search engine. So you also have Safari and Firefox and Internet Explorer. For my guys in the back of the room that have corporate issued PCs, they have IE installed on those. Nick, do you have Internet Explorer, or did you install Chrome on yours?
We operate with Chrome.
Okay,
On
good.
our websites within the company, we can't even get to.
And Explorer, yeah. IE is in the dust.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you explain to me, like, as a normal person person going out somewhere, if I want somebody to review us on Google and then it's just a copy of that review on our webpage?
Mm.
Or is it something totally different, and where should the weight be?
Good job. So that's a really good question. So reviews can only live in one place without being considered duplicate content. So we can't take a review and capture it here and then spread it across multiple places unless we convert it to a picture, which Google can see. So we can take a review, we can do a snapshot, turn it into a graphic, and we can put it somewhere else. So we could use it on a social media post or something, but it can't be crawlable text Google can read and see it twice. Otherwise it's duplicate content, you get in trouble for that. So as far as how to acquire reviews and where, the priority in between on your website and on your Google Maps account is going to change constantly. So if I search for AC installation Tomball, Texas, if I have an office in Tomball that's verifiable, means Google can send a postcard to your office, you can verify it with a PIN number, and you can get in on this map. In order for you to determine the priority of do I get reviews here or do I put them on the website, it's going to depend by search term, in the city you have an address, where you have a verified map listing, which is step 4, local listings. The number to beat is 93. Okay, so for this particular map listing, there's 3 showcased maps. In order to get showcased here, and it's called local map pack, top 3, Kim? Local map pack? Is that
Yeah,
top
just
3.
the top 3.
So in order to get there, it's how long you've had your local listing. So the longer you wait, the harder it is. Same thing with websites. It's how accurate your listing is, how many of the little pieces and details are all filled out, how frequently you post content to the listing, which is local marketing publishing or local listings publishing. It's the number of reviews, the quality of the reviews, the quantity and number, and the frequency of reviews. So if this works for lead generation only in the city I have a verified address at, then the priority is I always want to be in this top map pack. I want to be listed here. So if somebody, so Crossways is new. Are they on local listings yet? Not yet?
No.
Okay. So,
Can I add to that too?
yes, please do.
It's not just about getting the reviews, you also have to be putting out multiple types of content. Just the Google business listing alone, you can add in videos, you can add in pictures, you can add in customer photos. Now, one thing that I always advise everybody to do is to go in and on a Google account that is not an owner on the Google business listing, start adding in photos. Google's gonna read that as a customer photo, and you can win that way. Pay very close attention to your insights on the back end. You're going to be able to see whether your traffic is a direct or a discovery search. So a direct search is someone that's searching for your business name or your business address. That's a client, that is already a potential client. They've already pretty much converted. They're looking for you already, right? What you care about are those discovery searches. That's whenever somebody's coming in looking for AC repair, AC installation, whatever the case may be. That's how you know that you're gaining traffic, that your Google business listing is pulling up organically for the things that you're wanting to be found for. Now, if you're noticing that you're getting a whole lot of AC repair calls and not so many installation calls, there's also the ability to build out a whole products and services menu on the back end of that Google business listing that is absolutely it is absolutely necessary in order to pull up for every service that you want. You can add in photos, you can add in prices, you can add in URLs, and there's more backlinks for your website. So the Google business listing is one of the most important listings that you're ever going to have, way more important than a Facebook page or even a YouTube channel starting out. You have to get this absolutely perfect in order to reach, 50% of your customers?
In the beginning.
Potential customers.
In the beginning. So just remember that it's only in the city you have an address. So if you're a one-person shop and you're trying to stay close to home, that makes sense. Once you start growing and you have 2 people, 4 texts, 5 texts, 10 texts, 15 texts, your model has to change. So your model becomes keeping your Google business listings sharp so that you show up in the map pack for the city you have a physical address, but your model to be able to go after other locations, that's when you start getting reviews on your website. Okay? Every single individual city has a separate page. Why? Because Google indexes every single page differently. So what you'll notice here is if we're talking about a service, you're going to see, what do you want to sell? So for this page, what do we want to sell? Boiler service. Where do we want to sell it? In Bellingham. Absolutely. For this page, what do we want to sell? This is by GeoTarget. So, and we want to sell it in Seattle, Washington. And then you'll notice we want to sell it in other locations as well. So you'll start to see more and more cities show up on those each individual pages. Yes.
So what's the case where we wanted the reviews to be on our homepage?
So if you want the reviews on your site, which you need them on your site to show in that, first you have to have a website that's built with mobile first requirements. It's got to have what's called schematic markup inside of it. And then you have to have the review us has to be incorporated into your site here. The requirements also require that you have integrated your stars. This is part of schematic markup. You'll know if it has these things if you see a review us on the site, if you see the star ranking show up here. And the other way to tell is on every one of these, you're going to see when you do site : and you look at your website, if you have schematic markup, it's going to show. If you don't, you won't see it. So for Air Dynasty, there's no schematic markup on here. To me, I already know this is not a compliant website. It doesn't have schema. It doesn't have AMP. It's an older version of the site. It's not PHP 7, it's PHP 6. In fact, every single site that's in this room is old.
Did you see what was being indexed on that?
This one.
Long
So, yeah. So for ACS text.tx or -tx, whose site is this? Which one? ACS / that's yours, right? So your whole website is indexed with the Latin words that are used as dummy content. So the labeling that people have to use to be able to, this is called SEO. So optimization is going to come from the title here, the permalink, which is here, which we're not allowed to use tags. That's been gone for like 4 years now. And this is what's called a meta description. And that meta description, basically what they did is they used a template off the internet and they left all of the Latin text in there for that template. Sometimes if you see weird stuff in here, it can mean that the website's been hacked. I can tell this is just a template. They just didn't ever do any SEO on. So everything says it's a custom widget. The sidebar can be switched. This is whoever built the site. They should not be touching websites ever in their entire life, ever, ever, ever again. So, yeah, every page on the whole website. Yeah. So, and that, I mean, I've seen sites that are like that where people have been sitting in it and using it and spending money on marketing, and site's not turned on, it's not labeled, doesn't have, so every one of these, this is focused on products. Senior discount, that can be lunch at Denny's. It can be anything. So for what? It would be air conditioning, repair and service, senior discounts available or something like that, and where. Service area, that's a placeholder. HVAC service, that's a tech term. That's what you guys use versus consumers. It's either my air conditioner's broke or my heater's broke. You guys are HVAC. You'll refer to it as HVAC because you're technical. About Us is a junk page, just like a junk drawer in your room or in your kitchen. So everyone's going to have junk drawer pages on their website. It's just how many do you have? Installation, but then we confuse Google when we change things up, and then we go from installation to HVAC service. So we're making Google decide where do I put it? Which one should it go in? Air conditioning. It gets confused, so you'll be lower. The more you try and dilute a page and try and get it to rank for more and more things, the harder it is. Let me give you an example. So let's go down. I'm going to pull a page with no content on it. So we'll go electric fireplace installation, for example. So this is a no content page. They want to sell fireplaces. More power to them. This happened after the snow. They had to because they couldn't get the heaters fixed. So they had to start installing temporary devices to get through winter. So we made these pages. We're like, all right, let's go for it. We can plug it in. Can fit in 10 volt or 110 volt. So if I go grab this page title and search for it, there's 3.8 million pages in that drawer. And let's see if they rank. So you'll notice here, the content that we have in that little section is only focused on all the cities that they want to rank. This is the only content on the page, so we're using it as the meta description. So we're saying we don't have any content, so let's at least tell the consumer that we install electric fireplaces in Linwood. Now, as we change these, so I'm going to take the next page that Google can see, or the next location. Now there's 29.7 million. So you'll see the entire scope changes. They're on page 1, position 1 of 29 million. Then we'll take the next one, just change the location again. Let's go to Bothell, 1.2 million. See if they rank. We're getting lower on the page. You see how that it's starting to slide down?
And there's another client too. Snohomish Valley.
This is,
Mm-hmm.
I've never
That's
met.
mine.
Right on. So then we move, let's go to Mill Creek. 39 million. And they're going to start moving down and down and down. Then we'll go to Shoreline. So Google can't see outside of that. It starts getting confused. By location, you can get one page to rank in more than one location. But the further you stretch it out, the lower it's going to be on the page. So let's say that
Farther down on the list, the less Google sees it.
yeah, it's going to start going lower and lower and lower. But I'm not confusing it with any other service. It's electric fireplaces, which it knows that's a service or a product. The geo-targets, you can start expanding. The stronger your website gets, the more you can make one page do the work for you in multiple locations if it's done right. But the page needs to exist. It needs to sit around for a while. So a lot of times what happens is people won't add new content to their site because it's expensive. Whereas if you build it right and you structure it to say, I'm going to have one page on my website for every service I want to sell in every city I want to sell it, and let's let it sit. Consumers just need to know that you offer it. They do not care about reading all your content. That's not their gig. They want to know, can you install an electric or a gas fireplace, or can you install a new air conditioning system, or can you install a new furnace or a new heat pump, and so forth. And where can you do it? That's all that consumers want to know out of the gate. Yes.
I got a quick question. So let's say, we all have existing websites. I mean, are they considered, so let's say a company came in and revamped them and redid everything and kind of gave us what we're looking for. Would that be considered new from that point on? In other words, it's got to build from there, or has it been building this whole time?
So if your site already has rankings, so like I pulled up your guys' site, you guys rank on page 2 of Google for most of the pages on your site. So you sit around number 13 to 16 for the majority of them. So if someone rebuilt that, what they would want to do is copy exactly what you have right now into the new site. Then they would want to modify what's necessary in the opposite season to get you to start at your baseline of where am I right now and then improve from there. So that's a really good question, because a lot of times people will scrap everything and start from scratch, and that's painful. So they have to, what you would want to see is you'd want to, if you have a company redo it, you'd want to say, show me an indexed or show me a report that shows every item on my entire website. Let me show you an example. And this will save you from major.
Number 13 is useless.
It's a zero. It's zero. It's not a cash machine. It's a dead weight. So in this environment, you're either growing or dying. It's one of the two. Every page on your site is either growing or dying, or dead. That's how. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find this real quick for you. Okay. Yeah. So effectively, when somebody has to rebuild your site, make them show you that they understand every item on your website, every item. So this is what we pull before we start anything. Is we will go do a complete assessment that says this is before we built the site, what it was.
This is before you pay for the site.
Yes, this is before you even sign up with our company. We do this because we want to know what we're getting into before we start anything or quote. But a lot of times this gets missed. So we go figure out every single thing that's on here, and we go find what all the problems are right out of the gate. So what has low content, what doesn't rank, what is worthless content, what is content that's hurting you right now. So we've seen some weird stuff on there. I'll use a dentist for an example. I had a client that had pages on there, and everything was about, is your husband keeping you up at night? Bless you, bless you, bless you. Is your husband keeping you up at night? And it was weird content. And what she was trying to do is talk about sleep apnea. But the problem is it put it in a totally different filing system than they should ever want to be in. So it was just weird. But we see a lot of weird stuff like that where you don't want to be in that drawer. You don't want content on there that's going to put you in a weird drawer. So inside this, not only do they need to know every page, but they need to know what is the status of every single page. They need to know what are your titles for every single page. What are your H1 titles? What are the descriptions? These are not allowed to be the same. You're required to have different descriptions on every single page. That's part of search engine optimization plans. What are your H1s, your H2s? How many links do you have coming into the site? What is the size of each site? How many words do you have on each page? So if it's a mathematics game, everything matters, right? If you want to get found for air conditioner installation in Tomball, Texas, or Spring, Texas, or Cypress, Texas, then I got to know who's in page number 1. So what I'm going to look for is how long have they been there? Is their website compliant? How many reviews do they have? How many backlinks do they have? How many words on that particular page? How many pages related to air conditioner installation in Cypress, Texas do they have? Cypress, Texas air conditioner installation. Top 5 things to consider when installing a new air conditioning system in Cypress, Texas. All of these different variations, I got to see what are they coming to the table with. Then I can go back to you and say, if you want to own that, this is what we got to do, right? Then we're able to go, we're going to need a page of content, or we don't need a page of content. And the reality is every single person you're dealing with from an agency standpoint, when they give you advice before they own and operate your site, before they manage it, they're guessing. And even when they manage it, we're still guessing. So in our world, what we do is when we launch a website, we launch it with all your primary services on it, whether you have content or not, I don't care. So all the basics. What do you want to sell? I believe everyone in here will do AC installation and maintenance, repairs, service replacement, tune-ups. Thermostat installation comes with that. Same thing with heating, heat pumps or ductless, depending on if they do either one of them. Who do you serve? So almost everyone in here, I would assume residential, yes. Commercial or light commercial, yes. New construction. So there's also things like rural, manufactured homes, houseboats, industrial, farms, barns, man caves, basements, and not in Texas. But you get my drift is this is way bigger than just this. And every site, like you have unlimited room for growth. If you're in Denver, then we're doing grow rooms, right? If you're in Arizona or you're in California, we're doing wineries, wine cellars, wine cellar air conditioning installation, wine cellar dehumidification, wine cellar, right? Every room, if you're close to medical offices, if you're sitting next to hospitals, if you're working on military contracts, if you're working with apartments or multi-unit complexes and so forth, every single thing you want to sell, the lower we can make the competition, the faster you can make cash. Okay, the lower we can get the competition, the faster you can make the cash. So, when it comes to promotions, so just like I was mentioning on yours, instead of just coupons, what are they? They're air conditioning repair promotions, ductless heating and air conditioning system promotions, heat pump coupons, discounts, and promotions. I have one guy in Arizona who's making $500,000 a year off one page on his website. So the commercial came on for Las Vegas. Is in Las Vegas. Las Vegas rebates they get for having higher efficiency systems. So commercial came out. The energy company was saying you get rebates for having these higher efficiency systems. We happened to be at a workshop with him and he was showing us. So we went and built a page that very same day. Got him ranked on page 1 of Google. $500,000 in new business off one page. We have a special phone number on that page, a special form on that page. We know exactly how much money that page makes. One page. Just one. We just have to have complete clarity as a team and focus on the right things and not spend time on garbage. So financing, if you're not offering financing in this room, Nick will have someone come out and talk to everyone for 2 hours on financing. My version is Hawaii, new air conditioner system. Don't make people decide. Like, you need to offer, everyone has to offer financing. That's simple. Maintenance, you need a maintenance agreement. I mean, at some point when you have the resources to do it, that's what fills your shoulder seasons. So because you sell a maintenance agreement in the middle of summer doesn't mean you go do maintenance in the summer. You save that stuff for when it's, windows downtime, when it's nice and bike riding weather in Texas. Do your maintenance in those months. Get a credit card on file. Take a monthly fee on auto subscription so you're not sending them invoices. You're not reselling the agreement. We all love the convenience of just having my card on file. I don't have to worry about it. Please come take care of this. Make it a little fancy-dancy by changing out batteries and thermostats or changing out batteries in their COH2O something. We're going to get outside of money. What are they? Monoxide. I know boats. We have carbon monoxide things. Not a house in a while. So, do little things. Check for do a little fire safety equipment test. Make sure they have a working fire extinguisher. Do something cool. And take a monthly subscription for a credit card so you've got cash flow no matter what, year round. Get that maintenance money. You guys need recurring income. You need MRR, monthly recurring income. Monthly recurring revenue, excuse me. You need it. Also, jobs. So we build the websites. We don't ask if you want a job board, but job board's on the site. Why? Because you guys should be recruiting resources. That'll prevent you from growing too. If you're not recruiting new resources year-round, if you're not collecting resumes, if you're not getting your website optimized for different kinds of jobs, technicians and service and so forth, what you don't want to do is be scrambling when you need to hire. You need to have a database full of resources you can go to anytime you need to hire. So that way you can grow and keep things moving steady. Getting found for that. So I'll give you an example. Let's go take this. Let's see. Okay, so you'll see this. So this is two separate things, but it's still in the same category. So Google buckets things. Those would be determined, they'd be called variations. So a variation is, I'm going after careers, I'm going after jobs. Technically same bucket, different variations though. So if I was going after, and we're going after different cities.
The same posting.
Yep.
Like that would be confusing.
It would be if you had a brand new website or something that was out of compliance or something that was old. But in our case, we rank for both. It's a strong site. Everything's built well. They don't have reviews on the page. What I would tell them if they want to make the page stand out even more, get reviews from employees on those pages. That way we can show up here with the stars underneath it. Let me go pull Let's go HVAC jobs in Mount Vernon. So we didn't start with both. We started with one, and then when that page became strong enough to rank, then we went after the next one. HVAC careers. The same way you get found for new services is the same way you get found for jobs. Just got to get them on the front page. All right. So every one of these job descriptions, we wrote them. You can change them, you can edit them, you can do whatever you want with them. But you want to have it in there. You want a job board to make sure people can apply. You can build a database of resumes. You can easily access that. Other things that are important, resources. So part of the strategy of keeping people on your site is the site has to have something that's interactive. So having video on your site is going to help. Also, having terminology. So if any of these terms are used anywhere throughout the entire website, it's going to auto hover and give the definition of whatever it is. That's going to be helpful for consumers. In FAQs, and when you drill into that, you'll notice if a terminology is used on an interior page, it's going to highlight and pull from that terminology database. That database just continues to grow. In addition, having a SARE calculator on the site so your guys can go through and help them understand what SARE is, what it means, how it can help improve their monthly bills. And then finally, the troubleshooting system. We built this system because we're monitoring all of our clients' reviews. And what we were noticing is negative reviews were coming in because you get called out, you go change a battery in a thermostat, now they're ticked because you charged them however much money for changing a battery. So what wound up happening is this gives them little things they can fix themselves, but it wound up actually getting consumers to bookmark the websites, come back and use this on their own. So they're trying to troubleshoot the system and problems on their own, which is cool because bookmarking an HVAC site's not normal. So normally they're just going to Google it. So the system will basically take them through various things, and it either helps them fix the problem or it doesn't.
Is that a pretty simple thing to set up on your site?
So here's what, yes, lunch. Yes, absolutely. So here's they all look the same to me at this point, I'm sorry to say. That's
Right.
so bad. You had to ask me this last time. Thank you for my wink. So, when you guys have one company build one thing, the problem is that you're only going to get what you pay for. Whereas with Goodman, essentially what we've done is put a mass amount of time and energy into building what we believe is the strongest, most powerful HVAC marketing website there is in existence for the least amount of money that can launch the fastest. And we can replace it faster than anyone else as well. So that allows you to launch ahead of the game. All the basics are already built into it, all the fundamental basics, plus have all these bells and whistles like the troubleshooter and SARE calculator. Right now we're building it's submit 3 pictures and get an online estimate. So they can take pictures of the outdoor unit, indoor unit, the labels and everything. They can upload it to the system, and then you guys get to give them an estimate from that. We're building a text messaging system where someone can come to the site and they can enter their phone number to be able to get online specials available only to SMS. So they put in their name, they put in their phone number, and these are behind the screen promotions you guys can do. So you tell them if you're subscribed to our SMS notification system, those are down and dirty specials, not available. They're not publicized. They only come to our SMS subscribers, things like that. So the benefit is essentially that the system is pre-configured with all of these things as a part of it versus you having to go build something like that from scratch, because you'd be out 10, 20 grand for all of the things, probably around a $35,000 to $40,000 project. And we don't want that. We want, the website is it's a necessary evil. So We want you in a site as fast as possible, get the site live, and then let's focus on the things that make you money. Right now, is lunch here? Did I see that?
It'll be here soon.
Soon, okay.
Oh, it's here? All right. Well, then.
All right, so
Stopping point.
you guys tell me, do you want to have a working, so here are options. You guys can take lunch, answer phone calls, and handle business. That's an option. We can have working lunch and
Miss some traffic.
Get out at 3.
try and get out of some traffic possibly. Or you guys can go sit with one of our team members if you have specific things you want to get resolved or fixed while we're here. You guys tell me. Thoughts?
How about a 10-minute break? And then
10-minute break, then
we eat
working
while
lunch?
you're
Yeah,
talking.
work.
Are you guys okay with that? All right, let's go.
I like that.
Thanks, everyone.
Good idea, bro.
Good idea.
Okay, something please, for the store.